Welcome back, beautiful people. Lisa Mantus here with Denise Ramon and my son Eric in the afterlife. You can find out more about him if you
Mhm.
watch part 2 of this Neanderthal series. And also information about Denise will be in the description box. She's also on the tab at the very top of the AtlantisScalar.com page. The team. All right, we're going to continue the final questions for our Neanderthal collective. Neander, I think that means wandering valley, or maybe lower valley. I don't know. Anyway, next, how advanced are Neanderthals in terms of inventions, society, or any particular field of science, engineering, etc.? I'd say kind of low, but still, no judgment.
I hear and a laughing in the audience, and they agree with you on that level. It is there's no comparison.
Survival,
Um,
man.
it- that's exactly what it was all about, and
Yeah.
in that, their skills were very sharp.
Okay. Did they know about the benefits of crystals or not?
I'm getting yes, because they knew that um, everything that was around them had a use. There was a purpose in it. It
Oh,
wasn't
yeah.
just there be to make it look pretty or whatever. There was definitely a purpose for all of it. Some knew more about it than others, just like we know about some things
Yeah.
more than others. But they are saying yes, that they knew um, that the crystals had energy, and not just the crystals, but they also knew because they're showing me the rocks and stuff, and the
Yeah.
rocks are not like the rocks we see today, but the rocks there they knew held energy.
What about healing plants? Did they know about that?
Oh yes, they did know about the healing plants. Yes, they knew that.
How did they
You
find
know,
out? I mean, it's such a
um,
it's so difficult because you eat something you could die. How did it was just like difficult to figure it out. And one
well,
heal. So
what they're showing me is that they had an intuitiveness, a knowing, like it was information given to them that they knew that some plants were there for healing. It was just a knowing. They knew that
okay.
these plants. Now, did some people eat plants and investigate that so that others didn't have to? Absolutely. And yes, some did get sick from it and stuff. But they also had there was a knowing, like something about they're showing me, like when they break a leaf, depending on how the leaf bled, and I when I say bled, I'm not talking blood, but the liquid or something, they
Right.
knew that something was not good with it, so they knew some plants were not edible and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So there was a knowing that they knew. And I just feel like there was a consciousness that
Tapped into?
they yeah, that they knew was there that would help them along the way, because they weren't just a bunch of dodo heads just dropped here and it's like figure it out. They weren't dropped in, like, say, the middle of the ocean and say figure out how to swim back. There was consciousness with them.
Yeah,
And of course, there was a lot of trial and error on stuff, but
I
yeah.
can imagine. So it sounds like the Neanderthals that you guys had a lot more abilities per capita as far as psychic abilities, maybe even channeling, healing abilities. Is that true or not?
They're telling me yes, but that is because they didn't have anything to start telling them they didn't have that.
Oh, yeah. So they had their innate abilities
Yes,
unencumbered by society telling them they're nuts.
correct, correct. They didn't have people coming in, is what they're saying, preaching to them, telling them a different story than
You're
what
the
they
devil
already
if
knew.
you talk to the dead.
They laughed. That was not that was nothing in their vocabulary.
Yeah,
And when you say that vocabulary, I just don't feel like they spoke a lot of words either. It was
yeah.
more, um, more sign language almost.
Did they communicate sometimes with telepathy?
Oh, yes, yes. But I feel like they did a lot more sign language, like,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
than anything, the way they're showing me. And
Okay.
grunting and moaning and that kind of stuff,
Okay.
but
Sounds
yeah.
like a porn movie. Okay. Okay. How did you dispose of and honor the dead?
Well, when they die, when they're dying, and because they show me how a lot of them knew they were going to transition, as I call it, transition. So it's like they started a ceremony, and they would just do their what we would call singing and dancing type stuff. They would lay them out. They would, depending on where it was. Um, sometimes, and they would just honor them, just as they were breathing their way to the other side. I don't feel like death was as big of a struggle as it is today for a lot of us, with a lot of resistance, because when they were ready to go, and
Yeah.
it didn't linger for days and days. I do feel like, though, when it was during rough conditions, when I say rough conditions, I'm talking about weather conditions.
Yeah.
I do feel like sometimes, that it was known that sometimes that they had to leave people behind in order for the
Oh,
village, the tribe, to be able to
survive.
continue. Yes, but it was, I don't feel like it was oh, please don't leave me here. I just feel like this is the protocol. This is what we
It's like
do.
the Eskimos sitting the old lady on the ice floe. Bye.
That yeah,
Yeah.
they said, yeah, that's like a good analogy. But
That's a
they
movie,
didn't linger.
Nanook of the North. I remember
Yeah,
that scene. Ugh.
but they didn't hang on to life like we are so resistant, like, to transitioning, because they just knew that it was the next phase to go to. It was there just wasn't that.
Did they believe in, well, we're going to come back? Is like a reincarnation and stuff? Or they
Oh,
did they,
they knew there was other life. They knew that there was another life, other life. They knew that this wasn't it. I don't think they understood it to the depths like we have vocabulary to, but they knew that this wasn't a one
it
and
wasn't
done
the end?
thing.
Okay.
Right.
How do they feel about death? So you're saying they really weren't afraid of it. It was like they understood because they died relatively young. So they probably just like, okay, Tommy, time for you to go. It's okay. We accept that.
What they're telling me is that, it's like, of course there was sadness and stuff to a
Yeah.
degree, but it was like, this is what you do. This is, so it wasn't like
So where it is.
yeah, it wasn't like they were trying to keep them alive forever,
Yeah.
It's,
Okay.
yeah.
Did they sing or have music of any sort? We were talking about, honoring the deceased. What was there song, singing, humming, anything like that?
When you
Beating of
say that,
drums or drum-like things?
they made rattles out of bones.
Okay.
And so there was musical instruments, because they showed me how they made rattles out of bones, and I don't know how they did that, and I don't want to know.
That's okay.
Yeah, there was instruments that they made out of leftover
Okay.
stuff. Yeah, yeah, there was.
They sing or not? Or just,
No, I don't get that they used a lot of words.
yeah, okay.
I just get like probably a lot of noise. You know,
Okay.
Erik says it was more frequency tones.
Oh, sounds like my house when the kids were growing up. Okay. Did you live in the moment or did you reminisce about the past and think about the future? As
Everything was the moment. Everything was the moment.
so a lot of mindfulness, a lot of present, in the present.
Yes, and
They had
But
to for
when they said,
survival, right? I mean,
right, when they said
imagine.
that, yeah, they said when they, and everything was the moment, but they also learned from the past how to improve the moment.
Oh, okay. Did you think about the future? Maybe it's as simple as what am I going to eat tomorrow? But
Things like that, yes, like they knew they needed to get from point A to point B by a certain time and stuff, or they know they needed to stay at point B until they could get to point C. They knew they needed to stay at point B for X amount of time, because of conditions or whatever, you know.
yeah,
Also too, I feel like they followed the stars, they followed the how the winds were blowing, because that determined what kind of animal life was traveling certain
yeah.
places, so they knew how to eat and stuff. So they did plan for the future like that, but nothing like what we planned for.
Did they have experts like somebody who could read the weather? People who could help with like a midwife? Or did they have roles, in other words, of expertise?
Oh yes, they did have roles. They did
I
have
figured.
roles. So they had people that, like you were saying, like a midwife. They had people who could really, chart the territory of how, like when they were hunting, you know, because there were people who could think like the tiger or think like these animals that we don't have today. You know,
Yeah,
they could tie into that. Um, you know, there were people that, who knew how to, it's like a medicine man or a medicine woman. They
yeah.
knew how to do, you know, so people had their expertise and stuff, definitely.
Okay. Did you guys have a favorite food, type of food or drink?
Water is the favorite drink.
Okay. Food?
Water is the favorite.
Did you like cooked foods or raw foods, or did you prefer one over another? And did you even cook your food? I mean, you had fire, I guess, but
I I think that, the way they're showing me, like, they didn't cook their food like we cook our food today. Um, you know, I get that they preferred their food more raw than anything, because
okay.
that's where all the nutrients are, is
Yeah.
before you do it. And they're saying, you know, the food that they ate in that was pure. It didn't have what we have in our
Oh,
meats and stuff
hormones and
today.
stuff. Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
all the everything like that, the pesticides, they didn't have any of that. So food then tasted pure, they're telling me. So to cook it like how we cook a steak medium well, that would just, it's almost like you have to eat more of a raw steak. You only need, and they're giving me this so we can see, of a raw steak, so to speak, you only need to eat 2 ounces of it. But if
Oh,
when you cook it, you would have to eat like 4 to 6 ounces of it.
makes sense. Wow. So your favorite kind of food was, I mean, I know you were gatherers too. I mean, berries and different types of vegetation. Did you prefer meat as the source of your food or vegetation? Or,
It depended on the seasons, because they ate according to the season
oh
of when
yeah.
things were in. And they said because your body craves what
Yeah.
climate you were in, the season you were in and stuff. So they really, um, they just, the way they ate, they didn't eat like we do today, you know.
Yeah.
And they are also saying,
No drive-in
yeah, and also too, their food
unless you're
was
Fred
about
Flintstone. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
was about nourishment and to feeding the body. Today we eat to feed our thoughts, to feed our
Emotions.
mind.
Yeah.
Yes. So how they ate was just for nourishment and stuff. And they're also telling me that the food they ate, like how they did like a ceremony with the food and stuff too, and appreciation for the
Yes.
animals and the plant life of what they, and they said that that, especially like the meat, that would nourish their body and help keep them healthy and strong and moving forward. Also feeds the brain even more. It helps to sharpen our thoughts and stuff. um, and they're also saying that they didn't want to live to be 100 years, 200 years old. They didn't, that isn't the whole process to
Right.
live like that. Um,
What did they
especially
live
in,
for? And what did they live for? What was their goal in their life? To be happy, or was it just survival, or was it just to reproduce? Or what was the what did they dream of being? Now I'm complete. This is was a good life.
they are saying, for them, it was just being in the moment, being like just being in the moment, they said, you know. Um, were there some things that they wish they didn't have to deal with? And I'm hearing, yes, the harsh conditions, and I
Yeah.
feel like that's more for temperature wise and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and then also too, I do feel like there was some starvation going on, depending on what, how
I'm
things
sure.
got, you know, things like that. But their main thing was, it's like to be happy, you know, like, so everything was
In
fulfilled. And
relationships mostly, or just solitude? Was there a definition of happiness being with somebody you love, care about?
well, it was more of a village type environment
Okay.
is what they're showing me, and it's just to where everybody's happy. And when I say happy, it feels like where everybody is flourishing, where everybody's has a full
Okay.
stomach, everybody is plentiful with fluids, you know, water, whatever, and everybody's just helping everybody. I just don't think, feel like from what they're showing me, they had the conflicts like we do today.
I know. All right, real quickly, because we only have 5 minutes left. Did you build structures for shelter to live in, or was it mostly caves?
No, they said they built some structures, you know,
Like
it just,
lean-tos with trees and branches and stuff like that?
yeah, they said they built some structures. I feel like with rocks
Okay.
um and wood and stuff, like they did build some structures. And they also, you know, they used animal skin and stuff like that too to help build
Oh, yeah.
structure for them. Yeah.
Did you do any cave drawings that still exist today that may or may not have been found yet?
When you said that, I feel like they did do drawings and they did do stuff with colors, and they used it from the dye of some of
Plants?
the the plant life and stuff, you know, the plant life they used, you know, I guess like from, I'm just saying berries or something, the dyes from stuff like that. Is there some drawings? And they are all saying yes, and they have, some have been found, but they are not allowing that information out.
Oh, yeah, please. But have there been drawings that have not yet been discovered by man?
Oh yes, because
Okay.
because it's like almost in places where we haven't even gone to yet.
Okay.
Because, yeah,
Got it. All right. Did you guys brush your teeth? Your hair?
they show me their teeth, and no,
I bet not. What about your hair?
no, you know, not we. They didn't have brushes like we do. I feel
Okay.
like if anything, yeah, they just didn't have those utensils
No,
like
no, and
we
they
have.
did wasn't important to survival, although teeth are. So you had obviously a lot of dental problems, right?
Well, they're showing me how like their teeth are not white at all, but I just don't feel like they had that much tooth decay.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they're showing me. I don't feel like they
Maybe it's
had
their
that much tooth.
diet. Maybe their diet was such that they didn't.
That's what
Or maybe the
how
type
they're.
of plants they ate helped ward that off. I don't know. What do you think, Eric? Can you help us there?
Well, Erik says the stuff that they ate didn't have it wasn't processed stuff. It didn't, it was
Yeah.
all natural, so it didn't have any of that there. Um, you know, of course they chewed on things to help loosen things and stuff, but I just don't feel like they had like plaque build up.
Yeah.
They
They
didn't
have those
have
little greeny
digestive.
bones that I give to my dogs.
Well, when you mention that, Erik says they did use some things, with the bones and stuff from other things they ate, but I just don't feel like they didn't have digestive issues, which Erik says can
Yeah.
cause to mouth problems, or
Yeah.
teeth problems. So they
Right.
didn't have a lot of those type of issues going on. Um, they just didn't, and I just don't feel like they had um, problems with too many teeth in their mouth like some of us do and stuff. I just don't get that was a big
Okay.
issue for them,
All right.
which
Two
is a good
more
thing.
quick questions and then we'll end. Could they easily astral project or project into other realms, sort of like Bigfoot? Or not? Or maybe they could.
What they're telling me is there was a few people that knew how to do that within the village. Like it
Okay.
wasn't like a common thing
Were
that
they
was known.
considered the magic men, the medicine men, the elder kind of thing?
Yeah, I get more like they had like like a like I guess you would say like an elder. They had special gifts or something. They just
So they were revered by being able to do that.
yeah, but I don't feel like it was well known within the village that they could do that. I felt
Okay.
like it was, yeah, I just don't feel like it was advertised.
Mm. Last question. Neanderthal Collective. Any final messages for modern humans? Oh, gulp. Oh my God. Brace yourself, people. Ooh.
Well, what they're saying is that the truth about who you are is really coming to fruition, and who they said we were is not who we are. We're more than who we are.
I believe it. They look upon your people as being so shallow, I think, and unintelligent and without emotions, etc. And I don't think that's true. Anything else for modern humans to know from you to learn from?
Well, that is true. That is true. That they did have emotions and stuff, but they just didn't get caught up in. I don't feel like they had the ego like we do. The ego wasn't as prevalent in them as it is with us today. They didn't care about how much money they made, what title they had,
Yeah.
obviously what
How people
cars.
felt
What
about them.
they didn't get into all of that because it was so important. Survival was the key,
Yeah.
and passing down the stuff that they learned to the next generations,
Yeah.
passing down that storytelling time.
Okay. Erik, you want to add anything else before we close?
Erik says we should be thanking them because they helped pave the way to where we are right now. They
Yeah.
walked through some rough parts so that we don't have to.
Wow. Yeah. Well, thank you, Neanderthal Collective. Thank you, Denise Ramon. Thank you, my love, Erik. You guys be sure you watch the other parts of this series and check out Denise Ramon in the description box and the banner wherever it's going to be. All right. Love you guys.
Love you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.